facts around drug abuse. And each of the speakers, including our own representatives from the government, alluded to this. The influences around brain development not being optimum, the risk factors that sometimes are suggested to be genetic, the role of interventions and programs, including multisectoral approaches. Now, how about peer influence? Peer influence is said to be playing a significant role in substance abuse. There was an interesting question about a shoe that hangs on a line. Those are part of peer influences. What about accessibility? We've had a lot talked about that. That easy access to substances. Dr. Toro talked about marketing, including online marketing. Prescription medications and alcohol keeps increasing the likelihood of youth experimenting with and developing dependencies. We keep talking about the youth because we're trying to also address the problem from where it first hits hardest, but that does not say that the youth are the only group that we are looking at. What about a mental health connection? There's a strong correlation based on we're here, and we're a solution-based team from different sectors, including the family unit, where some of us absorb and observe these trends going on. Is recovery possible? I think that what we'll be hearing coming sessions is that with appropriate treatment, with appropriate support, with appropriate intervention, recovery is possible. And people can go and live full and productive lives. But don't give up. Remember, we're in a safe space. We're not pointing fingers. We're not judging. We are not saying we have the solution or the know-it-all. What we are saying is we are coming together to do something about it. So Wamboi Ndegwa was supposed to be in the first session, but we kind of tweaked it a little bit as we tried to manage our time better. Not because her session was less important. The keynote address that she will be giving is equally important. We just tweaked it a little bit so that she also finds you when your minds are fresh. So if Wamboi, you're ready, I'll invite you to come to the stage. And you will have 15 minutes. Thank you to talk to us. And I am ready for you with the fun question. I don't know if the people I'm asking are finding them fun, but for me, I told you I'm writing stale jokes. Wamboi, please laugh. If not anything else, you laugh at my stale joke. So what did one wall say to the other wall? What did one, no wonder, a student. What did one wall say to the other wall?
Let's meet at the corner.
Let's meet at the corner. Ha, ha, ha. So funny. At least somebody got it. So Wamboi, I know you're a researcher. I know you're passionate in your field. I know you're a postgraduate holder in public health and research. But all that doesn't matter. I want you to tell me what's a crazy thing you do when no one's watching? Not crazy, crazy. You know this is Kenya. Just something interesting that is non-conventional. Here is a mic.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Crazy, a little bit
Or
crazy.
or interesting or unusual.
Okay, I talk to myself, but I think a lot of people talk to themselves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, she talks to herself. Any people to herself? Any people in that club? Yes. Me, I have the power of speaking to myself when a matatu cuts me or a city hopper. I say things that it's between me and my God, but I've asked for forgiveness. Okay. What is your hobby? What fun things do you like to do? Do you like cooking chapos? What fun thing do you like to do?
Certainly not cooking chapos. I like watching birds.
Wow.
Yeah.
As on Tonyoni.
Yes.
Yeah.
Onyoni. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why birds? Like people watch.
Ndege.
Yeah. Oh, birds. Kenyans. Birds. Nyonis. Todege. Those ones. Yes. That's a very. should I say muzungu-like hobby? What created your interest in watching birds, and what do you appreciate about it? It's a nice hobby.
Yeah, I know a lot of Kenyans think it's a Muzungu thing, but it isn't. Actually, birds are everywhere. So if you want wildlife, to appreciate wildlife anywhere, watch birds.
Yeah, Kenyans. Don't throw stones at them. Yeah, just watch them. So we're looking forward to your keynote address. You have 15 minutes. Naleke will wave the flag when you have 5 minutes to go. Enjoy.
Thank you. And thank you all for attending this symposium. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, I come at the back end of senior colleagues, learned people who have done more research than me. I've only done a master's. There are those ahead who have done PhDs, and they talked. So what I'm going to share, they've shared some of, but I'll still go ahead. This one is for Gen Zs, my juniors now. Learn, watch and learn. So good afternoon, and it's good to see you all. We are here because we are concerned about and involved in dealing with drug and alcohol abuse. We've been sharing different approaches and options that are available to deal with this menace. The desirable outcome is to get and implement strategies that will take us to the next level in managing this problem. So we have looked at some of what has worked, like in Ireland and also in the Division of Public Health. And so we'll look at some other things. What my topic or my sharing is about the gaps that are there in the anti-drug and alcohol abuse programs in Kenya. That is where street medicine comes in, and all other players comes in, because there is what is there and there is what we hope to achieve. So in Kenya, the problem has been tackled by various approaches and players. Those in Kenya, maybe, I don't know if Gen Zs remember the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act of 2010. Who knows that one? Gen Z, what was the popular name of that act? Okay, Mutudho Law. So Mutudho Law was one of the things most people remember. And for a while, it reduced the cases of public displays of drunken and disorderly behavior. Then more recently, there was the closure of many bars and relicensing requirements, especially in the central part of Kenya, by the Office of the Deputy President. So we also have government involvement in the anti-drug and alcohol abuse programs, mainly through National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug and Alcohol Abuse, NACADA. They do this in schools and in the community. And I was happy to also hear Dr. Toro mention how the Division of Substance Abuse in the Ministry of Public Health is going to be starting campaigns to do public education. The government is also involved in the enforcement of laws against the abuse of drugs and alcohol through arrests and prosecution of offenders. In the non-governmental sphere, there are various institutions where rehabilitation services are offered, residentially and non-residentially. And one of the biggest challenges in Kenya is the residential cost, or residential rehabilitation cost. For example, at one rehab center, their costs per month range from 100,000 to 650,000. And this is in a country where we say our GDP per capita is $2,000. So it is clear this is difficult for most people. So because the street medicine model is based on a community-based approach, it offers a non-institutional format, which is most suited for our setting. In this approach, people can access treatment for their addiction in various places. This is more convenient for them than accessing these services at fixed points. So this is an approach the government has found is especially helpful in reaching those who are less motivated towards treatment and those who have had relapses. The government has also noted that outpatient treatment is ideal for long-term maintenance care, which cannot be done in residential settings because of the expense or work obligations. And this is a goal we are looking towards, to avoid relapses, to maintain the status of when you are rehabilitated, you remain sober. So whereas the healthcare system in Kenya is primarily focused on care in health facilities, recent developments have opened up the possibility of healthcare provision in other locations. So the recognition and mainstreaming of community health workers, and Dr. Toro also mentioned this, that community health workers will progressively be integrated into drug and alcohol abuse programs. Currently they do, they provide simple services like taking blood pressure and administering vaccines. So this recognition of other places where healthcare can be provided is a gap for Street Medicine Africa. The government has recognized community health workers, so street medicine workers can also be integrated into this ecosystem to deal with the drug and alcohol abuse issue. There is also a gap available for Street Medicine Africa to get into the area of anti-drug and anti-illicit alcohol support programs, and Joyce mentioned this, so I will not go much into it. What I can point out is a program like Alcoholics Anonymous, which is a support group, has about 40 groups in Kenya, I think. And this is in a country where we are talking about NACADA saying there are 1.4 million people addicted to alcohol. So there's still a gap, there's still space, there's still opportunity for more support groups like Street Medicine Africa is proposing. So Joyce also mentioned the issue of mobile health clinics. This precedent was started by the provision of Beyond Zero mobile clinics. Those who remember, the First Lady then, Margaret Uhuru, started this to help expectant mothers. This is also in line with what many street medicine practitioners do. So using a similar approach like Joyce is suggesting and proposing, addicts will be assisted in various places. Now, in the past with the Beyond Zero clinics, the notifications were done in media, but the government also uses chiefs and assistant chiefs to publicize these kind of things, because actually, as it is right now, those are the grassroots people given charge over the issue of addressing drug and alcohol abuse. And they also work with the Nyumba Kumi elders, because the Nyumba Kumi elders know who the addicts are, where the abuse takes place, and they are involved in those things. So they are able to direct people, like for example the street medicine practitioners, to target the people who are needed for these interventions. It was also noted about the mental health issues by Dr. Toro. The Kenya Household and Health Expenditure and Utilization Survey of 2018 put men's mental disorders at 58% compared to 43% in women. And NACADA reported that these mental health challenges are a result of drug and alcohol abuse. Now these two issues, mental health issues and drug and alcohol abuse, they are like a vicious cycle which each fuels the other. So it is of concern, of course, to us as a society, because when you have especially high numbers of men who are leaders of our homes struggling and not able to manage their families, then the fabric of society is also damaged. So because we are talking about interventions and gaps, there is the issue of professional counseling, and this was mentioned as some of the support that's given there. And for sure, as Joyce mentioned, it is expensive. Even based on my own research, one of the places was putting their cost at 4,000 per 1 hour session. Now, there are some places which offer free counseling, like churches, but because of stigma, a lot of addicts may not feel comfortable going to churches to access these services. But when you have the street medicine model where you're reaching out to them, you're able to reach them, and it's likely to be more affordable because it doesn't have high fixed overhead costs like rent. So it's likely to be more affordable, which is what is needed. So in addition to the launch of this symposium in Kenya, there's an opportunity for street medicine to be involved in other symposiums, and Dr. O'Reilly was kind enough to invite us to the one in Ireland, and I hope we will be able to take advantage of that and MOUs and all those good things. So such forums are good because, as she said, they are forums for sharing information and forming partnerships, and this is also a gap for Street Medicine Africa to collaborate with others. So another opportunity or gap is the fact that some street medicine practitioners are associated with universities. We are at a university right now. They may not offer medicine or public health classes, but others which do have collaborated. Like in America, you have Loyola University and University of Southern California. So there's a chance for and an opportunity for Street Medicine Africa to collaborate with such schools for research and also to get medical practitioners. So currently there is goodwill from the government in dealing with the drug and alcohol abuse situation in Kenya. And as was noted by Dr. O'Reilly, the major challenges in Kenya are drugs that are mostly localized. That is brewing of illicit alcohol and growing cannabis. And the government is making considerable efforts to deal with this. So Kenya is fortunate right now, like also Dr. Toro noted, that in combating external drugs, we are at a good geographical location. We are more insulated than West Africa, which is having a big challenge with drugs. We are more insulated than them from South America, where a lot of drugs come from. And we are also a bit far from China, which is a source of a lot of synthetic drugs. So this provides an opportunity for street medicine providers to reach drug users who are using locally available drugs and prevent them from venturing in those hard drugs which are out there, like opioids and methamphetamines and cocaine and heroin, which are not so prevalent in Kenya, but they are prevalent in Western countries. So I conclude by saying we are at a critical threshold, and Dr. Toro also noted that, where intervention can prevent further deterioration of the cases of drug and alcohol abuse in Kenya. With support from other partners, these issues can be addressed comprehensively. This, therefore, is an ideal time for the street medicine model to be applied in Kenya. I look forward to seeing its positive contribution in dealing with the challenge of drug and alcohol abuse in Kenya for the betterment of our society. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Wamboi. Let's appreciate her. Really excellent timekeeping. A lot of information that's compact and very useful. Thank you. Well done. You give us hope in time. Huh? Okay, so we're just trying to recover our lost time. So ladies and gentlemen, please rise to your feet. You notice we're also doing a lot of wellness for ourselves. You will only need a pen. Can you find a pen in your hand? So Naleke, please distribute the paper as I give the instruction. You'll get a paper from Naleke. This is now competition. No Kenyans love competing. So you'll all get a paper. Pass to the end maybe, and then people just speak. So when you get that paper, you walk around and find somebody in this room you think looks most like you. Someone you don't know. Someone you think looks most like you. I won't tell you what criteria to use, but the person you think looks most like you, when you found that person, together we will say 1, 2, 3, go, and you'll fill in that paper. So the couple or the pair that finds the words first will be the winners. So don't start cheating. Some of you are already circling. Aki Kenyans, there is no way we do straight things. So this is a fun word search. If you look at the bottom, you're going to find the words to search. And now we see whose eyes can see straight. Don't start. University of the Ghetto, I can see you. You're ready with your pen. Don't start. Okay, instruction 1, move around. And you'll do this task standing because you'll be sitting soon. We only have 3 minutes. Find the person you think looks most like you. I don't know what criteria you will use. It is, don't start yet. By now, okay, finding. Don't do, some people are cheating already by themselves. Oh yeah, guys, don't let me down. Some couples have started. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. Together. Write your name on the paper, please. Some people have not even received the paper. We'll add you half a minute. DJ some music to inspire and motivate us in the background. Naleke judges, walk around. See the first couple to finish. DJ, our brains need to think.
Welcome to the music surgery.
Hey, it's taking longer. Countdown is about to begin. You're done. Yay! We have a winning group here. Number 1 and number 2 here. And number 3. Now who? They were number 1. Then those guys became number 2. And these guys became 3. Then for you are number 1. Hey, Kenya. You are number 1. Oh my goodness. Okay, we can go back to our places. Well done. Keep your paper with you as evidence. The 1 million prize might come round. And if you don't have the evidence, oh yeah, some people still haven't found. Let's be fair to them. You know, we all learn differently. Let's wait. Anybody struggling to find? There's still a couple still trying to find. Is Marianne already in the house? Marianne? Has Marianne stepped out? I think she's, you're coming up next soon. As Marianne prepares to come up. Well done. Give yourselves a clap. It's always good to motivate yourself. You know, when we say competition, yani the things Kenyans can do to be fast. I love us. That's why we win in many things. So Marianne is going to be handling the next session. I love the next session because it now goes into the stories, lived experiences or living experiences, and they'll elaborate more on that. We've looked a lot at policies and theories and statements, but now we want to go to the ground, like real life. Are we just breathing hot air, or is this thing a reality that there is hope? When we finish with Marianne and her panel, I want to just guide you so that you're aware and you're ready. We will go into what we call an open mic. And an open mic is literally, you're here today, you've come for this symposium, you want to share your story, you want to ask a question, the mic will be open. So I'll guide you on how we'll be doing that open mic. But guys, if you don't respond to open mic, forever hold your peace. Don't blame us. So the open mic will be your opportunity to jump at it and share as we answer the question, what are you doing about it? What have you done about it? What evidence do you have to support the same? And if you don't know how to go about it, how can I go about it? So be ready mentally, okay? So those are our next 2 key activities, and I'll keep giving you guidelines. So Marianne, over to you as you invite your team. So Marianne, I know you're a casereb, eh? You sing, that much I know. And I know your panel has other celebs, and we shall see them in your celebrities. It's just nice to have you and hand over this session to you. My fun question for you is, what's your best memory of primary school?
Singing.
Singing, oh wow, they let you sing. Hey, me, I grew up in a bad generation, when singing was considered a waste of time. They allowed you to sing.
They
Did you
did.
sing at events?
I actually formed singing groups. One was called Mighty Warriors when I was in class 3.
Hey! Some of us didn't even know we were born in class 3, that we were in the world. So by grade 3, you were actually already singing. So you loved singing. Do you want to tell us anything about your family?
I'm married for 15 years.
Wow.
I have a 14-year-old, 9-year-old, and 3-year-old.
Wow. Allah, you're looking like this after, I'm not saying marriage for 15 years is bad, please, media people don't quote me wrongly, but there was somebody who might have been eyeing and saying, ni huyo. Sorry. Looking amazing.
Thank you.
Over to you. So her panelists, as you're invited, please come and take a seat. And
As the video plays, I would like to call Jemima.
sorry, let's pause the video so we watch together. Sorry.
We can watch this video first and then I call my
where
group.
we are
Oh,
drained
okay.
by the covering up of bleeding wounds,
DJ,
only for
please
them
start
to
it
show
again.
up in. But
Sorry, we were
the worst betrayal is self-betrayal. We live in a generation where we are drained by the covering up of bleeding wounds, only for them to show up in very ugly ways. My life has not always been perfect. I have won some battles and lost others. I have always deeply desired to see people heal and get a chance to rewrite their stories. My name is Marianne Imani. Welcome to Freedom Lounge, where we work together to bring healing and transformation according to Psalms chapter 2, verse 3.
And now I want to invite the amazing, brave story from our Auntie Jemima. Guys, give her a hand. Pyron up because she's giving an amazing story. And an amazing story from Lawrence. And yes, another Pyron for Lawrence. And an amazing story from Frank, Pastor Frank. Fantastic. Please come to the stage. I am passionate about healing and people who have stories to give about where they are coming from, what they have experienced, and where we are headed. We have that on because their stories, not everybody is able to come to stage and give their stories authentically. So here
The
we go.
worst betrayal.
All right, let me have you here.
Can you see them all clearly?
Can you?
Will you need the screen as well?
Okay. I would like to call one more person. Yeah, that's okay. I'd like to call one more person, Gathoni Mbugwa, as I may need her to also explain what happens. She is one of our expertise in this area of drug abuse. She's a clinical psychologist at Chiromo. She has many hats as far as mental health is concerned. So we'll ask her a few questions as far as these stories are concerned. So please join the stage. You can. All right. So, where do we start? We only have 30 minutes to go through this. So I will start with, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Good morning or good afternoon. Yeah, my name's Frank Maina. Frank was born in Eastland of Nairobi, a place called Isli. Maybe because I cannot go to the full story, maybe let me say that I started drugs at the age of 17.
Oh.
Yeah, at the age of the 17. And I don't know if you know, mimi nimekunywa mpaka ile tunaitanga changamoto. Because kutoka Isili tuko tunavuka hapo mahali kunaitwa Murango Madhare. Na siku hiyo ilikuwa napikiwa pale kwa mto. So kabla makarao akuje inapoeshwa, so unakunywa changamoto. It reach a place that kana kwamba hata mandazi ingepita hapo unabai na unakula nayo. But I thank God. Nili cross addict tu kidogo nikaanza heroin na cocaine. But thank God I'm here. Yes.
That's such a great intro. Wow.
And again maybe kumaliza umeona nikirim kutoka pale. that is a cause of drugs, kwa sababu drugs and addiction and crime, they are twin brothers, zinaachana hivi. So because I wanted to support my habit, I started crime at very early age. So this as a result of fighting with Karaus. Nimeiba bank, nimefungwa, but thank God, now I'm here as a living testimony.
Amen,
Yes.
amen. A hand of applause for Frank. Tell us, Auntie Jemima, tell us about you. Who are you?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Auntie Jemima, but my birth name is Wagarewa Gori. I am a comedian by profession. I know you might be expecting me to make you laugh, but I'm only funny in Kikuyu, so sorry. I am also a recovering drug addict. My story of addiction dates back to 2006 when I was in high school. For me, it was more of experimenting because I started it in Form 3. This was at the age when I was curious. I wanted to try, I wanted to experiment, but it was also at an age where I got some freedom because I grew up as a firstborn. Those of us who've got millennial firstborns, tulifungiwa sana.
Firstborns, where are you? Raise your hand if you're a firstborn.
Oh.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. Hawa najua trauma wako nayo ni mingi. So for me, it was, I got a chance, I got freedom. Because when I started in Kangemi, in my second high school, and what they used to do is they used to allow us to go out on Sundays. So it was a girls' secondary school, and then it's in the middle of the ghetto, and then on Sundays you're told after Mass, you can go out of the school. And you know Kangemi has everything, so why not? Yeah, that's where I started. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, thank you. Next, Lawrence. A hand of applause for Auntie Jemima, guys.
Good afternoon. My name is Lawrence, a small boy from Kiambu County that was born and raised in a normal family. A young man who had a lot of visions and aspirations in life, but hapo katikati, substance use and abuse got up with me, that I lost a lot of the visions that I had and aspirations in life. I started using at the age of 12, just like Auntie Jemima, as a way of experimenting and thinking is a way of life simply because I could see other people doing it. And as I've put it, I came from Kiambu, so when I started moving around, or rather mingling with the diplomats' children, walikuwa mbele kidogo in terms of they are doing things. So a diplomat child from the US and the like at 12 years, and a boy from Kiambu, you can see this, it's like heaven and earth comparison. So I really used to envy the kind of lifestyle that they are living. So even when you are being given a kukushumpeng and being told pass it over, I thought it was fun. Until now, the parents, they are all gone, and they are no longer diplomats again because they're out of the country. And the only person I could see was only Lawrence, who is tayari deep down into addiction of several substances. But I thank God that today I can be able to simama mbele ya watu and say recovery is real and recovery is possible.
Wow, a hand of applause for Lawrence. And our psychologist, our clinical psychologist, tell us of your experience with lived experience.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. I'm Gathoni Mbogwa. Marianne is my friend. We met in one of the panels. I'm only saying that just to remind you about the power of networking. I'm a clinical psychologist. I have worked over the last 10 years. I did some work at Caretech Medical Center, so I'm happy to see somebody from Kiambu County here for like 4 years before I transitioned fully into mental health from 2018 at Chiromo Hospital Group. And then now I'm in AR Hospital, which has also now given me the opportunity to actually connect all these things that we are talking about today, because a hospital is a first space where people come and visit. So whether it's substances, whether it's mental health, that's the first space where people will come. So over and above everything, I'm truly, truly passionate about people. I'm very passionate about recovering dignity. I'm very passionate about young people, because that's where change can actually happen, and also more effectively. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation today. Yes.
All right, without any order, I want, yes, a big hand of applause for our clinical psychologist in the house, Gathoni Mbugua, my friend. So without any order, I would like you to tell us one instance that was extremely painful during your addiction.
So while I was in high school, when I was now in active addiction, my drug of choice was Mandrax. And so I'd use Mandrax, and then because we always want to graduate our highs, ukisikia imefika hapa sasa unataka kupanda to the next level. So I would use that, and I would also use marijuana. We used to smoke over the holidays, but kwa sababu tuna smoke sana ndio pesa ishe. Unajua addicts, ukinunua bangi unataka kuvuta yote ndio hiyo pesa umenunua pia ishe. So nilichomeka sana lips, so we now opted for the ganja juice. So I was using MX and ganja juice. Tulikuwa tunabeba na ile chupa ya jik, so that even when the teachers are doing inspection as you're coming back to school, nobody would suspect that. So the most painful part of my addiction story was, so because every Sunday we were allowed to go out, I was able to get my the dosage. So, but before the main exam, we were not allowed to go out. So I noticed the supply I had would only last me up to Wednesday. I noticed on a Saturday before that the only supply I have would only last me up to Wednesday. So I had to find a way to lie to the principal to let me go out of school. And then, so nikasema nitamdanganya niko mgonjwa, ugonjwa yenye atanipatia tu ruhusa at once akisikia. So Wednesday fikas, I exhausted what I had. So Friday, I think I only had ganja juice. I was now in active withdrawal, and I was not okay. I was sick. So Friday, then on Saturday, I woke up and I went and told the principal, matiti yangu ina bleed. Because I knew, I mean, msichana ki bleed, matiti utampatia ruhusa hapo hapo. And the sister was like, go to the dispensary and someone will check you out. Nikamwambia, I'm not going to the dispensary because whoever is there is a man. Na mimi sitamtolea matiti yangu. So she said she's going to send her sister, because it's a sister Catholic school, to look after you. So nikajua, sister ataona ni uongo. So, no, that was on a Friday. So on Saturday, my withdrawals were up there. So I woke up and the only thing my mind was saying was, you're supposed to be bleeding. So nilichukua sindano, nikajidunga matiti. I went to the principal when it started bleeding, and she told me, go and don't come back. She knew what had happened. For me, the only thing I wanted to hear was go. And that is what I did. I left. Yeah, so that day went, found my supplier, he could see I was not looking well. So I told him I'm not well. He told me, actually, sahi kuna ingine iko juu, level ingine ya juu, ita graduate high. And that day I got an overdose injection of heroin. Yeah.
Maybe mimi kile naweza kumbuka as a part of nikiwa under influence, there is some time, like I have said, that crime and addictions, they work together. I remember that day I had said that I will not steal again, but because I found myself under influence, remember tulicholewa kwenda kuiba nini, Mungu wa Wahindi. Hiyo kitu inaniuma mpaka leo, kwa sababu although nimefanya crime nyingi, but hii ya kuiba God wa Hindi iliniuma. And I remember, it's not a laughing matter. I remember that time that God was put somewhere, and then that is 1992. There was a packet of milk. Wahindi wanakuja wanamwaga. So hiyo maziwa iki dry, wanasema huyo Mungu amekunywa maziwa. Do you know, we started by drinking the milk of God. Then tukabeba aka Mungu, and for the 7 days kalikaa kwa nyumba yangu akakujitetea, and finally kakawa pesa. But hiyo kitu, although nimefanya vitu nyingi, mpaka leo inanikumbusha. Napona the word alcohol and drugs abuse, I always remember that time. Yes.
Please repeat your story again.
Yeah.
Sorry to stop.
Yes.
We have non-Kenyans in the audience,
Okay.
other African countries, and they don't understand Kiswahili, so please do a mix.
Okay. Let me say, I was saying this. In the process of drug abuse, I remember there is a time I have really, started by saying that crime and addiction, they work together. So because I wanted to support my habit, I remember we were given a mission whereby we were to steal a Hindu god. And in the process, I found myself even drinking the milk of that god. And after even we have stolen that god, we change it to be Kakawa Pesa. So that's what happened. Yes.
Okay.
Painful part.
For me, I would really say there are several incidences, but simply because you had asked us to only quote one.
No, you can quote more than one.
Okay. One, I wouldn't dwell on it so much, but I chose my bottle as compared to relocate back with my ex-wife to the UK, who was a German, because she saw that I'm not being fruitful, being in the country, because being surrounded by friends who are, or peers who always used to take me back to the drinking den. So she asked me to relocate, to go back to the UK so that we can be able to live there and run away from my friends. But I chose divorce over, instead of going back for a better life, I chose my drink. But the one that hurts me more is all the Christmas and New Year's and Easter holidays. I never got a chance to spend at home because I was always on the run from the administration. Because my line of work, I'm an animal behaviorist by profession, whereby I used to import dogs on behalf, or rather train for clients, and I used to make good cash out of it. But all that cash went down the drain to support my addiction. So what hurts me more is I used to buy mbuzi for my family, but I could never eat that mbuzi in peace because I couldn't park my car outside my house because I don't know who is after me, because I'd stolen from very many who is who in the country. So, and somebody giving you $500,000 to bring a dog in or to train the dog, I can tell you if you steal from that kind of people, they are really going to look for you. So I used to park my car very far away from my house, and I could use other people's farms to sneak into my own compound, eat mbuzi, checking whether somebody is checking on me. And even when I'm in the house, I'm always telling the children, make sure the door is locked. Doesn't matter whether it's a moja, doesn't matter the time. So I used to live in paranoia. I was just paranoid at all given time. So my regret is having passed all those years without having quality time with my babies growing up, simply because I'm running away from the crimes I've done to support my addiction.
I have a question. So from the pain that you experienced, as you continue to tell us more pain through the addiction, did it make you change immediately? Or did you still struggle? Did the pain make you want to just change? Was that the turning point, or you still continued with the journey of the addiction? Tell us more.
That's the saddest part, because we used to keep on telling our family members and friends that I'm not going to use any other time. This is my last time. After being to jail, after being to police cells, we just kept on promising, I will never touch it again. And truly, we were very remorseful. We're really sorry because we can see what drugs are doing to our lives. But sadly, we didn't manage to change at that particular time, because we always got ourselves going back to use more and more, committing more crime, getting deep down into addiction. But deep down our hearts, we never wanted to use. We were sorry using, we could see what it is doing to our lives, but the dependency level was so much at the, on top there, such that we couldn't do away, or we couldn't do without it. So we were not able to live at that particular, to leave the drugs at that particular point, but we just kept on promising that we are going to do away with it, but it was not easy for us to.
I didn't stop at that point, but I remember after I got the overdose of heroin, I started going home, because I come from Keno, so it's not very far from Kangemi. But on alighting, I don't have a recollection of how things went from that point to when I got home, because I was told that I collapsed somewhere, and it was a neighbor who found me, took me home, and I was in and out of consciousness. So in that subconsciousness state, I had told my dad what had been happening. So it was kuchapwa juu. The sister had already called and said that I was expelled. So I was beaten thoroughly, and then I was taken to hospital, where I was given detox, and then I was taken back to another high school. So one of the things I noticed, or later on now because I went to rehab, but that now will come later. So the way we deal with addiction in Kenya and Africa, I think there's a lot that needs to be addressed, because a lot of people either think umerogwa, ama they start taking you to church, ama they think change of environment, probably from one school to another, is going to help you. So maybe it would have changed if I had been taken directly into counseling or rehab immediately, because it would have dealt with the root cause then.
I can also say that I didn't quit immediately, because at last what happened is that I was jailed. I was caught and jailed with robbery with violence stroke 2. So you see that postponing to get help, it will land you to a bigger problem. So I didn't quit it immediately, but I continue thinking that maybe after getting another little money, I'll be able to quit, until when I was jailed for a robbery violence stroke 2, that was to be hanged. And by the way, my story, you can watch it at YouTube channel. Yeah, Pastor Frank Maina, you'll get it there. So,
How many of you can relate? You have an addiction, may not be alcohol, it could be any type of addiction, it could be gambling, it could be anything. Could be relationship addiction, where you're just always moving from one to the next. After 1 week, you're in the next one. It could be also sex addiction. It could be any form of addiction. How many of you can relate when you've tried, you say today is the last day, but unajipata tena kesho? Lift your hand, I see you. We are an authentic crowd, right? So you relate that sometimes even when you've gone through the pain that pains you most, sometimes it can be very hard. And I want Gathoni Mbugwa to kindly tell us, what is this relationship between addiction? What's with the addiction? What's the psychology behind addiction?
Right, thank you for that. Allow me to start by saying that two things that I truly appreciate this day. One, that this room is full of youthful people, but two, because we also this symposium specifically catered for people with lived experience. We cannot have conversations without involving people with lived experience. When stories are told, there is so much power of transformation in that. So one of the things that you've had this morning, I was trying to put down some notes here. One, we say that addiction, it is indeed a debilitating disease, and despite negative consequences. And what you have heard from our panelists this morning is that they all did experience negative consequences. But despite those negative consequences, there was no way for them to be able to control. And then you might ask why, because I think in layman it's easy for us to say, this child has become spoiled. It's easy to say, I think even witchcraft is sometimes an easier thing to blame on than to accept the actual reality of what is going on, or even somebody, talked badly about you. But I want to demonstrate one thing this morning by asking the panelists a question. Do any of you have a family history of any form of substances. Uncles, aunties, yes, yes. Right. And one of the key messages that I want all the young people to do and to live here with today, please go and look at your family history. We are talking about your parents, their siblings, their children, all the way to your grandparents. Why is that important? As long as you have a form of vulnerability, if you are predisposed, then it means the chances of you triggering that are higher. And what I'm trying to say, don't compare yourself with anybody. Alcohol will be there, you know. And the funny thing is, I remember my parents telling me that when I was younger, it will always be there. And now that, you know, we are much older, it's still there. Never compare yourself to somebody. Because sequentially, it starts like a joke. It starts out of curiosity. In fact, there's a bad message that parents sell to children, that this thing that they are taking is for adults. See, that's what we always told. This is an adult's drink. And the key message you're trying to send is that, you know, when you're an adult, you can try it. So people can't wait to get to 18 so that they can try this thing. And then the ones who actually get to high school and then get an opportunity, so they're thinking, I'm doing this adult thing. So it's a cool thing, kind of a space. So from the curiosity, then you go to social, then you go to instrumental, where you realize, oh, I can actually use this thing to influence how I feel, to influence your moods. And before you realize, there is dependence. And then addiction comes in. So the question is, what is the correlation? Is because once your brain is rewired, the reward system is completely rewired. So let me put it in layman's language. I like to say that the ups and downs of a human being are normal. There are days that you wake up and you feel the best version of yourself. You feel great. There are days that you wake up and you feel down. So basically, if there is an underproduction of like dopamine, then that is sensed and that is regulated, okay, for lack of better words. But that reward system sometimes, if it's completely rewired, it means you cannot be able to function normally unless you introduce an external factor, which in this case is a substance. So even if you're experiencing negative emotions, you still want to be able to influence, to get that high, and you keep chasing the high. The high of the high of the high, you keep chasing that from time to time without realizing that as you do that, then the consequences are health, the consequences are strained relationships, the consequences are stagnation as well in your life. One of our panelists has shared today in terms of how many times they promised over and over and over that they are going to change. And you can imagine the families are also going through the same emotional roller coaster. And in fact, we say, when one person is sick within the family, then the rest of the family is sick. Why do we say that? It's because symptomatically, the family, they are not sleeping. Symptomatically, when you're not home, what happens to their mind? Yeah, it's spiraling. Where is this person? What has happened to them? Symptomatically, their moods are disrupted. They feel bad. They feel anxious. And eventually, they even begin to get some physical symptoms out of just that stressor. And like Auntie Jemima has said, part of true change has to start with accepting the reality. And the reality is this is a disease. And like any other illness, then it needs proper treatment. And that treatment sometimes can involve medication, but also changes in terms of social counseling, understanding the root cause, understanding other confounding factors, if there was trauma, you know, or not, or what this person went through. That is actually where true change can be able to come from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathoni. What intervention worked for you? At what point did you get intervention? Yeah. Your stories are very emotional, you almost got hanged. The heroine story. Normally we hear alcohol and and bang and weed, but then yours, you know, it's different. And what intervention?
So after I was expelled from St. Martin's, and then after I was taken to detox, my dad got me another high school. So this is a third high school. And then, so when I went to that high school, when we went for my clothes in St. Martin's, kumbe, mali nilikuwa nimeficha, I could not find them. So when they brought in the clothes, I found, kumbe my drugs were still there. Ni mimi sikuwa nimezitafuta vizuri. So now I took to compensate. For that time I was taken for detox. So instead of now getting 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, I was doing 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. Ndio pia wanitambue. So I stayed in that school for 3 days. The 3 days I stayed there, I did not shower. By the way, addicts and shower by their tupendani. I did not shower. And on the third day, because they made me repeat Form 2. I was in Form 3, then they made me repeat Form 2. On the third day, I was like, no, by the way, I can't. I was a Gen Z that day. I went to the principal's office and I told her, yo, you know what? I can't stay here. In fact, I told her outright, I am a drug addict. If you don't let me go home, I'm going to make your girls here drug addicts also. So she was scared. Her name is Mrs. Mugambi. She was scared, but she has studied counseling. So she was able to handle me. She called my mom, who came late in the evening. My mom cried, told me, no, you need to study because your brothers and sisters are looking up to you. I was like, yo, ikitu imekata kabisa, let's just go home. So when I went home, because of the beatings I was getting from my dad, I expected that when he came home, he's going to beat me again. So I was always ready. Alikuwa anaingia hivi kwa nyumba na mwangalia hivi, so that in case he hits me, I will block it. But he did not beat me. Surprisingly, for 2 days, my father did not touch me. Kumbe Mrs. Mugambi called him and told him, this girl needs counseling or rehab. And so that is where now my counseling journey started. Now, my dad did not know who exactly to go to. So I started going for counseling to anyone. And that's another problem. When you have an addiction problem, stop going to church. No offense to the leaders of the church here, but that is not what they have studied. That is not their specialty. Just like when you have a toothache, you go to a dentist. You don't go to a general doctor. So we started going to church counseling. It was not working for me because these are people who do not know what I'm ailing from and how to handle me. So then I started hearing conversations about rehabs. Now this is 2006. I'd never heard of a rehab. So I went and asked my cousin, hey, I'm hearing people saying, my dad saying that he wants to take me to rehab. Do you know what is a rehab? Where is a rehab? My cousin told me a rehab is like an approved school. Unatandikwa, unafungwa na chains so that you stop taking the drugs until the drugs wear off. Finishing, my parents were also done. So I was asked, do you want to remain? I was like, akinataka. But there is a kadila I'm waiting for that I need. But there was no deal. It was just now sijui kama ni shetani, you want but you still don't want. So I went home. I think subconsciously my mind knew it was like the last day, because I remember on the 19th, because we had gone on the 18th, on the 19th I had a good drink, yani hiyo siku nililewa. And then on 20th I woke up, I told my mom I want to go to rehab, and she asked me, are you sure, where are we going to get the money? And I told her, we usijali, pesa itapatikana. So for me the turnaround was being cancelled by fellow addicts, and that is now on 20th September is when I was admitted at Blessed Talbot Recovery Center. I did 90 days, and I have been a happy recovering addict since then. Thank you.
Awesome. Great story.
Okay, me, I learned it hard way, because I remember I was caught and I was still in drugs. And remember, you can't ask when the rosto, wala wanajua rosto zikinuka, hawezi tumana ukiwa jela uletewe nini drugs. So it was a hard time withdraw, kulikuwa na mambo ya withdraw, symptoms, mambo yote, nilikuwa na hallucinations, but ungefanya nini mpaka kifungo ishe? So niliota, nikawika, nikalia, nikasweat, nikaanguka, but finally nikapata my recovery hard way. It was not so sweet, and I always say that if you have not tasted drugs, don't try. In our language tunasema nionje unioe. Unionje unioe. You just taste it and then you will marry it. Na fikiria mimi hivyo ndivyo nilisoma.
So it was cold turkey. You cold turkey recovered. Wow. Wow.
Please allow me to add something.
Please do.
Is the ministry still here? Oh, they left. They are still here. Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe it's a point of concern that we need programs even in our remand and our prisons, so that we can even avoid, withdrawals can kill someone. So we need to address that gap. Thank you.
Oh, same question.
Yes, Lawrence. What was your intervention point?
Yes, I think for me there were 3 points that, or 3 incidences or things that really made me to turn around. The first one was my children, especially my firstborn daughter, who was just about to clear high school. And I felt within a year or 2, I'll be meeting her in the same drinking dens that I'm enjoying with small girls. And I knew the respect will never be able to go back to that house again if she ever sees me or catches me doing what was well-gooding. So that was my number 1 factor to make me consider to quit the drugs. The second one was after I drank 1 car, 2nd car, 3rd car, 4th car, 5th car, 6th car, and I was like, now I don't have any money. I've not done anything with all the things that God had blessed me with earlier. And after drinking the 6th car, now hata leo nimekuja na matatu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. And apparently I don't regret, because if getting back those cars are the ones that are still going to give me the notion to keep on club hopping, I would rather stay the way I am. So after drinking the 6th car, I was like, now there is a problem. And mind you, this is after trying 2 rehabs, 2 consecutive rehabs, different intervals, but I still went back to addiction. But the most or major thing that really also I looked at was my friends. I lost around 5 friends who I very close with. I only used to drink with people that I used to school with back in high school. And I could see during the contribution, their children, they are leaving their young kids, and they've all lost their lives because of drugs and drinking. So that thing, I was like, I'm looking at my last born and my kids in general, and I was like, no, God, please, don't let me leave my kids without a father, so that they can be able to suffer like my friends' children are suffering simply because their dads have left this world simply because of drugs-related complications or situations. So that one really, it was a wake-up call. After the last one died, when I was seated with him, actually he was the one who called me to go to a club, and I didn't have like good cash that material day, but he insisted that we meet. And kumbe he was flying out of the country after being home for a long time without work, because he used to work overseas. So when he was home, he called me, he's like, I'm just about to leave the country because I've landed another job, so kindly let's meet up as we bid each other goodbye. And he bought, but he left me without saying, because we were both intoxicated. Only for me, when I'm driving home, I saw him lying lifelessly on the street because I was the one who was supposed to drop him. So as much as I'd lost other friends, that material one had really, hit me under the belt, that I felt, no, I'm not going to leave my kids suffer the way my friends' children now have been left fatherless.
Wow, wow, very great stories there. What I'm learning today is that for those who raised up their hands when they mentioned, when I asked if you are struggling with an addiction of any kind, have a strong why. They found their whys. If your why is strong, it will be easier. And the moment they got their why, as I've listened to Pastor Frank, his why was, what was his why? Someone in the crowd say, what was his why? I need to see if you're attentive. Yes. Mike? You need a mic? He went cold turkey. Why? Because he was in prison. He realized, by the way, this is the only way. And he had his why. Prison, crime, almost being hanged was his why. And Miss Jemima, what was her why? Someone in the crowd? The mic, please. What was Auntie Jemima's why?
Thank you. Okay, Auntie Jemima's why was all about schooling, and he damaged the relationship between her and the family based on education, and she was retrieved by fellow addicted fellas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, she found a group. Remember, she was on denial that she needed help. She found an authentic group that she could relate with. Sometimes when you're going through an addiction or something, if you just need someone like you, that you can really, someone who also wants to get out of it. And when you have that authentic group that's going through addiction, you're also encouraged to get out of it. She found her why in not feeling alone in this, but finding others, and they were recovering together as well. All right, someone else to tell us, what was Lauren's why?
It's why I was seeing her friends perish because of substance use, and their family are staying, they lose their loved ones.
Exactly. Just seeing how his friends had suffered, how the people he was drinking with had suffered, and some of them were actually dying. So before we close up, I would like you to say something. What are you doing now with your experience, now that you're sober and God has blessed you? What are you doing now with the experience and the knowledge that you have? And what would be your last word?
Okay. Right now, we have a community-based organization back in my community, whereby I'm working with parents who have children and also wives who have got husbands with substance use disorders. When somebody goes to a rehab and they happen to come back, and maybe you had sold your cow to take your loved ones to a rehabilitation center, and they happen maybe to relapse, many a times they might not have that knowledge or that understanding that a relapse sometimes it's also part of recovery. And many a times they keep on asking God, why me? And that's where now mambo ya laana, or like what was my family cast. So I've been a pillar to such families to encourage them and to take them through, letting them know that addiction is a disease and they should not just take it as a curse in our communities. I also do a lot of advocacy to those who have been left behind, be it like court cases. I happen to ask for pro bonos because not everybody who is in prison who is a criminal. Many of us have been there simply because we are trying to assist our addiction. So I work with several government agencies, especially now the police in my area. And if somebody happens to be arrested and their case is addiction related, I thank God many times I've been called to talk to them. But basically we also hold community forums with parents and also substance use disorder patients who are actively using. We go to the streets and talk to them because as one of the panelists said, there's a lot of stigma. So telling that person to come to church or come to the office, because I have an office that was given by the DCC, so that I can be able to highlight and to teach, or rather to reach out to more people in my community. So I work with those people who people want to associate with them, because the self-esteem has already gone. Your titles, being a doctor or judge, once you get into addiction, your title is already being stripped up. So I'm trying as much as possible to fill into that gap and to remind them you are still the Kamau that you used to be. It's only that your title was taken away from you, but you can still be able to reclaim it. And I thank God, I can say so far so good. I can see a lot of people turning around through that community rehabilitation. And maybe the next time we meet, God will have blessed us with a drop-in that I'm really pursuing my leaders in my community to help us with a certain space, so that now we can be able to be helping in a more greater way. Yes, asante.
Thank you very much. So in my area of work, I am a comedian. I do a lot of storytelling. I just did a stand-up comedy show last year called Maitomo Kavete, and Maitomo Kavete is just my story. You can find it at antijemima.ke. It's told in a hilarious way, but it still passes the message. So I also try to do media interviews every now and then. I am not shy. I always share my story. And my parting shot would be, my few words would be, we need to do a lot of mental health addressing in our country, because that is the root cause. Even when I was sharing the posters for this day, I say that we need to stop pulling people from the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they are jumping into the river. And one of the biggest reasons why people are jumping into the addiction river is mental health. Just like Gadoni has said, the way we address mental health in Kenya and in Africa leaves a lot to be desired. Many a times I walk around and I see the people we call mad on the streets, and I'm like, this is probably someone who had probably schizophrenia. We've seen the case of Kamau Mbogwa. His condition was triggered by the drugs that he was given. So we have a lot of cases that would probably have been addressed and rescued, but we do not have that yet. So there needs to be a lot of civic education, and I'm happy for Street Medicine Africa. Thank you so much, Joyce, for this platform. Let's reach out to more. I'd love to see more of these forums, not just in universities, even in junior schools, even in those small schools, because that is where the problems start. You find kids are having mental problems because their parents are also going through a lot at home, and the only place they can, probably at school, is where they spend most of their times, but we don't even have therapists in school. You find that a child is being cancelled by a mathematics teacher, and the same mathematics teacher, because they are not professionally trained, ataenda aitumie kwa class. Wewe unaanguka hesabu na unakumbuka uliniambia jana baba yako sijui alifanya nini. So we need to address it from the root cause at schools, junior schools. Parents, we need to have more forums, even for families who are dealing with addiction, for them to know how to deal with the addicts. The other thing is, there's a gentleman who said that we are a product of systematic something. I don't know who was that when the session was beginning. Yes, correct. I am glad we now have CBC, because our education system has been very conditioning, and a lot of depression would have been solved if our education system was better than what it had. My God, we do 8 years of primary school, and then we do 4 years of high school, and then after that, if you're going into medicine, you have either 6 years or something else. If you sit down with a graduate right now, they are not street smart. They don't know how to maneuver in the streets. And then he clears, he graduates, he gets probably his master's, and then he comes to a no job opportunities. And as much as we want to take them to rehab, as much as we want people to go to therapy, when they get out of rehab, the economy in Kenya is a mess. So you have dealt with the person, but the external factors, we have not been able to deal with them. All right? So that is also something we need to consider. The other thing is, like I said, let us address our problems the right way. When you have a mental health problem, go to a psychiatrist, go to a therapist, go to whoever is supposed to do that. And if you're here and you know someone who's going through that, you can talk to Joyce, you can talk to street medicine to show them. Right now we have so many therapists online who can assist, and psychiatrists. Then let's keep the conversations moving, even in our homes. Let us be our own ambassadors. Let us help kill the stigma around mental health and addiction. The other probably final thing that we need to do is trauma. We are going through a lot of trauma as a country, and we are suffering from something that is called Stockholm syndrome. And I also think it's something that we need to address. If you're in a position to reparent yourself, please do it. Go for counseling, please do it. You will help the children now who we are rearing to become better citizens, and to also become better friends to other friends. It will also help us elect the right leaders who will also put our country, put our economy, put our mental health at a better position. Thank you very much.
Okay. Me, after transformation, we started a group in Agashie, a place called Mogasha. It's called It Can Be Done, CBO, whereby we have brought together the people of different real life stories, and we have done almost 9 years now. Reach out to those boys, those young girls and boys who are in substance abuse and alcohol. And we have done this, and we have seen so many success stories, including mine. So we also bring together teams of people that covered from various addictions. That's our setup. We bring people with real life stories. Where, by the way, do you know that these people, they don't trust everybody with their stories. They cannot trust you with their story. There's some story even, sometime I share with the administration, they say, how have you gone tell that information? So these people, they need people who can, they can relate. If you are not an addict will come and will be free to open up to you. If there's a guy, somebody in the crime, will come and will open up. I have seen so many cases that even administration marvel what is happening. So me, I believe that if we work together we join our effort together, I think the job will be easy, because those who know what is happening, those people on the ground. I was telling Lawrence another day, because we mostly work together. Those people who understand what is happening, those people on the ground. And like us, we do psychosocial counseling, reintegration, and empowerment. If there is anything that can make somebody not to relapse, is when you commit that somebody to do something. So after recovery, those 3 months of recovery, then what? You see, either you do a follow-up, all you empower this guy to do something for himself. So that is what we are doing. Many people have been asking, how do you get money? Because that is the case. What we do, mostly, we approach the community. I know even you, madam, I ask you, you have a cloth. Maybe those days you used to have to wear 25, size 25. Now you are, God have blessed you. By the grace of God, you are 40. Are you waiting to go back to size 25? No. So if you have something that extra,
hopefully,
yeah. If you have something that extra, you have 3 TV, 3 iron box, 3 dry, I don't know. Give those things out. When we get these things, sometimes we do an auction on online. We sell these things, and then we support our programs. Because you cannot gather over 50 men, all 100 men, drunkard, sitting down, you just talking with them, without providing something for them. They will not listen. So, many times, the same money is the same money we used to feed them as we talk to them. So, if we join hand together, it is possible. It is possible. We can bring a change in the life of these young people. Yes.
That is amazing, amazing, amazing. And as Street Medicine Africa, we definitely will partner with you so that we can bring these stories forward and we can bring restoration to people who are healed in addiction.
Maybe to add, we have our friends Kada who have been coming through for us. I remember there is some time they visited us. They found our girls, those young girls who are in recovery, trying to make lives by using the normal jikos, cooking mandazis. They want to sell because they want to be busy. Then they give us a cooking gas. That gas has helped so many. I was talking with one of them and telling, by just bringing that one cooker, it has transformed almost the whole village. Why? Because these girls have learned how to make cakes. They are selling those cakes, so they don't have time to engage themselves with drugs. So if combined effort, things can happen. Yes.
Amazing, 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 guys. And Ms. Gathoni Mbugua, please, parting shot. Just a few seconds.
Mine is to appreciate Freedom Launch and Street Medicine Africa for having this forum together, and my fellow panelists for being very vulnerable, very authentic in terms of giving their stories. Like I said, it's through the storytelling that we can be able to make real change, because then you can be able to relate to somebody who has gone through the experience rather than somebody who has theoretically learned this. So I'm here, I'm willing to come and support. Please invite me. In terms of what I do a lot. In fact, tomorrow I'll be in a school teaching from grade 1 all the way to grade 9. And that's the biggest part of my job, even with all the many hats I wear, is just to do a lot of CSR activities, which I'm really, really passionate about. That's how I'm sitting here today. And we need to have these conversations from those lower classes. Last but not least, we do blame the community a lot. That's my personal opinion, don't quote me. But listen, we say that stigma is in the community. And my question usually is, who is that community? Is it a building? It's us, it's you and me. And unfortunately, the highest level of stigma is within the family setup. Because once you have an issue with addiction, once you have an issue with any form of dysfunctionality or even a mental illness, the first people to treat you different are going to be your family, your children, your spouse, your parents, your siblings. So sad. That really makes me so sad, because if your own parent treats you like that, how is an office, your boss, your friends, how are they going to treat you any different? So my challenge today to all of us here is we need to actually call ourselves for a meeting, be better, do better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My parting shot is, as Ms. Gathoni Mbugua has put it very clearly, how family sometimes is the one that makes it even harder to leave their addiction. I just want to say something. Doctors do get sick and even die. Pastors do sin, and you hear stories of having children out. Actually, some of them go to hell. Medical, mental health experts, psychologists, counseling psychologists, clinical psychologists, they also get mental disorders, and they also get depression, you know. So even teachers do fail tests, right? So what am I trying to say here? That we are all human, that we are all so prone to, all of us can easily get to that point where you find yourself addicted to something. You're human like every other person. So let's remain kind to each other. Let's be kind. When you see someone if you see a family member struggling, please don't stigmatize. Be kind. Just sometimes actually love is when you spread love to addicts, when you show them love, it actually heals them. They want to save themselves just because you're showing them love. So let's show love. Let's be kind. Remember, you're as human as you can be, and we need each other. Okay? All right, so let's rise up. Our session is over. And a round of applause again for wonderful panelists. Thank you. All right. A photo, please. John, a
photo. Okay, as you guys take a photo, let's give them a better clap than we did. Yeah. You notice we intentionally didn't time them. That was a panel of substance, and we wanted to keep it that way. So what we're going to do, we were supposed to have the open mic. Don't worry, we'll still manage our time. We won't have it right now. We'll have it when we come back. We'll guide you. But we'll have a song before we go. So have your seats. You're going to have some nice, and thank you, panel. You inspire me. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Like you're making a difference. You're doing something. Yeah? Marianne will sing a song for us. And while she's doing that, Naleke, Joyce, and team, please give out the meal cards. So you're going to receive a meal card which will be requested of you when you go for your lunch. So once the song is over, please proceed for lunch. For those who want to wash hands, I'm sure there's a hand washing station there. If not, use the ladies and gents. Please distribute them fast so that by the time we finish, we have our meal cards. Lunch, I think, is served right here where the tea was. You'll be required to hand that in. Thank you. Let's enjoy and stand and sing and dance. Let's not be like, what are they called? Props.
Yes.
Let's enjoy.
I'm going to bring in a spiritual aspect to this because I'm a spiritual person, and I so do believe that you're a spiritual person too. And I do believe that things do happen sometimes spiritually before they manifest physically. And last year, God enabled me to do a song. I would like you to also watch the video as I sing, because also with my background and as a counseling psychologist, I was able to capture issues that our youths are going through: identity confusion, alcohol addiction, just various things, marriage crisis. So I would like you to watch, and I would like you to just reflect on the chains that you want broken in your life. The song is called Lord Reign, and then there'll be a point at the climax, so it will be like chains are breaking. So ikifika hapo climax, mi nataka you sing chains are breaking. You know, in your life, you just think whatever chain it is, whichever addiction, even though not an addiction, or whatever, maybe you're struggling financially, maybe you're struggling with your brother, sister, whatever chain is holding you down, just sing along with me and say that it is breaking. All right.
Raising a cry
Isn't that beautiful? I don't want to dilute it. Bon appetit. See you at 2:15. Sorry? Sorry,